Hi guys, welcome to Trading in Zones. Thank you for joining over the weekend. I hope you guys are all safe and sound at home and taking care of your family. So today the agenda is to quickly have a look at how the week's been, how the market's been moving, and what are the things what we can look forward to in the coming week. All right, just give me a second. I will want to just confirm if my mic is working and if everyone's able to hear me. So I'm not sure how many people are currently streaming. I don't see too many viewers. All right, so let's quickly have a look at Nifty itself from a chart perspective. So we can probably start with Nifty and probably look at Bank Nifty as well in terms of what the charts are saying on longer time frame and what's been happening to the index over a period of time. So we had quite a bit of news kicking in, and the price is moving up and down from the stock perspective. So we haven't been able to really gauge the market movement or market trends because a lot of volatility has kicked in, and we can very clearly see that this has been the disturbing time for most of the traders on a day-to-day basis, because it feels like the market is bearish at a certain point in time, and then we see that the market starts moving up, and then again there is quite a bit of selling, and then a lot of undecisiveness from a candlestick patterns as well, and then though the days are red, the price starts moving up and then selling happening at every high price. So it's been quite confusing, and if you see this entire area of the chart, it's very difficult for most of the traders to really get a gauge in terms of how is the market moving, because you see some days opening gap up and then coming down, and then you see again the price starts moving up, then a down move, then an up move, and then a down move. This is also largely because of the current situation we have in the market, because of the virus and because of a lot of impact, you can say, from a GDP perspective, what's happening to India as an economy. So there are a lot of things which are going. So after a big fall which happened, so we'll have to look at everything from a perspective of how the market is moving when we are especially trying to do a technical analysis. So what we can very clearly see is that there is a swing low which happened. Price moved down close to 7,500 odd levels, and from there the price tried to move up, slight bit of resistance which came into play at around 9,000, and then the rejection happened. And then as 9,000 broke, you can see that this particular price point at around 9,000 has become a very strong point to watch, because every time it's coming close to around 9,050, the market seems to be pulling up. And that happened quite a few times, which we can see here after this resistance. Each time it kind of opened low, we can see that the price has tried to move up. So overall, is the market really looking that great? No. It's been more of a sell on high kind of a market at this point in time. This support might hold, and there might be more consolidations which might happen on one side, but some of these areas are very clear from a market perspective to see. Okay, from the day of 22nd of April till today, which is 15th or 16th of May, we are very clearly seeing that from a closing perspective, the price closing perspective, we are not seeing it closing below 9,000. So market is pretty much in this range of 9,000, 9,500. We had one day which created kind of an island top, you can say, from a price action perspective. It was just one day which was a huge gap up, and the next day a big gap down and moved down. Something very similar happened again when the news kicked in, and then the next set of days the market moving down again. So right now the key level for us to continue to watch from a market perspective, the key price point which we are seeing very clearly for the last 3 weeks at least is clearly this 9,000 odd level, where there seems to be some amount of pushback which happens. But obviously selling is very heavy on top, and we'll have to look for price action on the upside if the price moves up, in terms of where there could be a probable rejection and how good that rejection is from a volume perspective, and from a price movement perspective. We can consider those factors before we try to take a position. But however, this looks like a bit of a sideways move which we can expect in the market for some more time, and then probably eventual down move which might either test this bottom or might come down slightly up and a few more retraces. So we'll have to see how the corrections will work in the market, what kind of movements will happen. But at least for now, I'm expecting it to continue sideways for a while longer before it really moves down. So looking at these aspects, it's also important for us to probably look at Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is being a lot more bearish because the banks are not having great outlook. Lot of issues and economy being a bit down. You can also see from a chart perspective the retraces compared to Nifty, the kind of strong retrace Nifty has had. The Bank Nifty seems to be much weaker, right? So the Bank Nifty doesn't seem to have the usual strength it used to have while it was at its peak, right? So we can see the strength of Bank Nifty is pretty weak, and obviously even some of the gap up openings which we are seeing in Nifty, at least we are seeing some green candles in Nifty, but we are predominantly seeing a lot of bearish move on Bank Nifty. And Bank Nifty is probably doing something very similar. Volatility is very high, and we can very clearly see that from a closing perspective, it is just about holding around 8,500, 8,600 range. So once we have a close below any of these points, we might probably expect a new low to happen, or any kind of buying which might kick in around 17,000 odd range can also happen, or a test of any of these low where there was a bounce earlier can, create a new swing up. After this move, there can be a swing up which can happen. So that is another possibility if the correction continues to move sideways. So we'll have to wait and watch. Similar to Nifty, 9,000, around 18,500 below close becomes very key for Bank Nifty to watch. Okay, so continue to watch these price levels. If you are an index trader like me, we can obviously look at all these options and figure out in terms of what we are expecting in the market. All right, so what else? So from a overall market perspective, in terms of how we are doing, what's happening, yes, we are seeing that the corona has no solution as of today. A lot of news by drug makers and others came in and went out saying that the vaccines are developed and not. But a significant damage to the economy is already done, being a lot of shops being shut down, a lot of markets not operating, exception being a few, maybe a telecom industry is still operating, making more money. If you have made an observation, most of the telecom providers have increased their prepaid recharging schemes, which used to be around 400 rupees for about 3 months, have now all become 600 for a period of 3 months. So they seem to be banking on this situation where people want to stay connected. A lot of internet companies have propped up, a lot of new internet connections have been obtained because people are working from home. A large population is sitting at home, so there are more people staying connected, and we are seeing that impact across. I mean, we are seeing a lot more people spending a lot more time on YouTube of late, Netflix, etc. So some of these companies which are into media, which are into online media, which are generating revenue through these aspects, might continue to do well. Retail might continue to do well, though it might be subdued. It might not have an impact as much as as much as any other sectors. When Like for example, an aviation industry will have a larger impact. Though we see IRCTC and other companies doing pretty well compared to how much of down move it happened, they are not still back full force. There is only partial operations which are happening here and there. So overall, if you see from a revenue perspective or a next quarter results perspective, we might get some of these companies at a cheaper price. At the same time, some of the other companies which are not really impacted, where companies like TCS, you can see the news and you can figure out 80-90% of the population working from home, all are enabled to continue to do the business they continue to do. So very less impact, because most of the global companies in these kind of situations would look at cutting cost. So we would always be at an added advantage when it comes to an outsourcing industry, because more business might flow in some of the IT sectors, in some of the BPO sectors, etc. And we might want to watch these sectors going forward, in my view. Similarly, automotive industry has taken a hit very badly. Obviously, not many cars are plying on the road, not many people fueling up their vehicles, not many people back to office in most of the cities, except being Bangalore. I've been going to office since last week. So a lot of things are slowly kind of changing in the market, but again, the damage is done, and the damage is good 3 months, which is almost 1 quarter. And that is going to significantly reduce the valuations of most of the companies as they start producing quarterly results. We might not see their earnings which were as good as what they were before. Especially the financial institutions might take a lot of it, because they might not be selling as many loans. There might not be as many people going out to buy stuff. So a lot of industries like retail, finance, all these who are predominantly dependent on sales might take a hit. Right? And again, all these things are some things which you can see from your own perspective in terms of how your life has changed, what you are doing as a common man, what are the things you are not willing to do as a common man, right? And accordingly, you can figure out what would be a predominant behavior in the market. So people might become more cautious, and as people become more cautious, there will be certain sectors which will do really well. There will be certain sectors which might not do that great. So we'll have to probably make an assessment in terms of what's working and what's not working for most of the sectors, and accordingly take a call in terms of where we want to invest. Obviously, banking sector is not that great at this point in time, and that's exactly what we have been talking all this while, right? So Nifty Bank, Nifty is done. Some of the stocks which were looking good, I was talking to some of our group of traders with whom I trade on Discord on a regular basis. I'm also trying to stream on a regular basis onto YouTube. Hopefully starting Monday we will have a lot more live streams. So some of the stocks which we have been looking at, I can quickly show you. McDowell was one of the stock which I was looking at recently. It seemed to be doing pretty well, right? You can see that this was an area I've marked most of my support and resistance in these levels, which you can see earlier. Price point of 2018 low was held, so this was a great price to buy around 25th of March if anyone was looking at price action. A nice reversal and then a nice hold of the reversal. Right, so whenever you see these kind of reversal and the price does not come to the bottom of the reversal, and if it holds halfway through there, they become very good. So we could see that there was one initial spurt of movement which happened till about 9th of April, and then it kind of went on a consolidation, moved down. Now it has tested the breakout, and now this was again a good set of entry with a stop below at 474. And if you're an investor longer time, maybe a few months or so, you can probably looking at having your stop at 434 as well. And you can obviously adjust your sizing and how much of money you want to invest. But I'm expecting the stock to move up, given that a lot of liquor sales have been restored in some of the cities. The revenue might start flowing in, and we might continue to see these things recovering over a period of time. And obviously a lot of people were pretty desperate to stock up and overbought. At least in some of the cities like Bangalore, I was told that people were buying 50-60,000 worth liquor. Obviously it's going to help companies like United Spirits they will be able to make a lot more sales than what they have done before. So this is a very interesting stock to watch. We can see that the resistance was made up somewhere around 571, and we can see the last few days the market has moved that this stock is obviously not being impacted. So very keen for me to continue looking at the stock to see if it's going to break out this, and if it comes back and tests 573 again, it becomes a great opportunity to take an entry, because this might give us a very good rally. So we'll have to see whether this gets into a bit more consolidation which will happen upwards, or consolidation which will happen on sideways, or if not a sideways consolidation, will it give a breakout? So these are some of the questions which the market will probably answer through time, but we are seeing in general good amount of volumes. You can see here, you can see the kind of volume, quite a bit of interest in selling kind of went down on this particular stock. This stock was doing pretty well after results in Jan. There was a good amount of spike all the way to 742, which was almost like a new high, and from there on you can see the chart patterns on a daily basis, and the weakness creeped in. The market started falling and this has got corrected. So this is definitely one of those stocks which I want to keep on my portfolio for a longer period of time. Alright, so apart from this, the other one which I was also talking recently was ADF Foods. This is a stock which looked good, results are good, and I mentioned to some of our trading folks with me who trade with me, saying there are quite a few circuit locks and this is actually a good buy at around 200 to 20 odd level. So I'm hoping some have taken entry. If not, this seems to be still a good entry with a swing stop below this particular consolidation, and it seems to be breaking out. We can see good amount of volumes kicking in, and then we can see good amount of volumes again kicking in here compared to what was happening before, and compared to the amount of selling which was happening before. So this seems to be a good stock from a technical perspective, and also the good results is probably fueling the volumes on this particular stock. Alright, so that's about it from a couple of stocks which I wanted to review today with all of you. Wanted to stream it live because it's slightly easier to stream live than to record, edit and upload. So I thought it's easier. Let me go ahead and stream if that's the case. So I hope this is insightful and you can look at these couple of stocks and also Nifty and Bank Nifty. If anyone has any questions, I'll probably hang on the line for a couple of more minutes, say up till about 7:20. If you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. If not, we can say happy weekend and a happy Saturday, and we'll catch you all up on Monday morning. Alright, so I don't see many questions popping up. Metal, Vishal, I think a good question. Metals are going to be subdued. The factories are still not opening up. In terms of any kind of investment on metal industry, I would personally suggest to wait. Let's see how things pan out in the market, whether the market is going to further correct, giving us more opportunities to invest in metal stocks, etc. Or if the market is going to sustain and continue sideways, and if it's going to break upside is very skeptical at this point in time. But however, markets are always accurate and we are always wrong. It can move in any direction. So the probability is more downside even for metal index, because there is nothing much which is, at least from a chart perspective which we can see. Let me quickly open the metal index if I can find it. Yes, here it is, CNX metal. So if you see this, this has been much weaker compared to most of the index or even bank Nifty movement, because these industries are almost completely shut down. So we can also see the behavior of people while buying or selling these stocks, because it's been very, very subdued. So the index is not really doing that great from a metal index perspective. There might be some movements up and down, but I'm not really sure. But this is something which might get impacted pretty badly, because this is again industry which is dependent on quite a bit of exports and domestic sales. And given that many other industries are shut down, the consumption has all gone down. I'm really not sure whether this is going to survive the lows what it has made, because even the movement from the lows has been very less compared to the amount of retrace which the index or bank Nifty has done. So you can very clearly see, I mean, even if you want to put a fib retracement quickly, you can see that this is how bad the retracement is. While the same thing if you see on a Nifty chart, I can show on a Nifty chart, you can sorry, this is Nifty metal which we drew. Just one second. This is the chart. I was just trying and fiddling with Bollinger Band indicator, but yeah, we can quickly move this to a daily level. Oh god, this is again showing Nifty metal. Okay, looks like the symbols are synced, that's why it is picking up the same. Just give me 1 second, let me open Nifty. So Nifty, if you see, even from a retrace perspective, if you see the highs somewhere over here, 12,400 odd, right? And if you see the retrace, we have had a retrace approaching very close to 50%. But if you see some of the other metal indexes, what we were seeing, their retraces are really, really sad. Right, they don't have a good retrace at all. If I go back to full screen, you can see they're not even retraced up to around 30-38% level, which also tells me that the interest in these stocks are way too low compared to some of the other stocks which are pulling the index up at this point in time. Right, so this might be something we can continue to watch, and if it's gonna break any of the support levels pretty strongly, or for example around 1600 odd level seems to be holding, 1600 to 1700 on the index has been holding for some time. Any lower side breakout, you can probably look for some of the metal stocks to build short positions, which can give you a decent return till it makes the similar low or a new low. All right. Yeah, I mean, you can look at monthly, you can look at weekly, but if you see the overall strength of how the market is behaving, when you see the retracement perspective, you will be really skeptical if the monthly will really kick in or not, right? And if you see even the monthly price action perspective, this might be a support, but that doesn't mean that the support will never break. Right, and usually strong support reversals on monthly are also something, when you see this creates a proper pattern. Here, this particular pattern is not even giving us any kind of confirmation to reversal. So even at a monthly level, if you look at the index, it's not, this was a much better reversal signal for me here in 2016, because you can see after the reversal the movement has been pretty sharp, and this is a monthly chart. Right, and even if you see the reversal here, a nice tweezer kind of a reversal pattern if you avoid seeing the wicks, and then the next few months the price completely shooting up, right? But if you see what is happening now, it's a different story altogether. So will this sustain? Doubtful, right? But is it a good price point to watch? Yes, absolutely a good price point to watch. So we'll have to continue seeing it. It does not look like a strong reversal at this point in time compared to historical movement. It has created almost a triple bottom on a monthly basis. If you see 2013, 2016 and 2020. So it's just not a double bottom. So it depends on how you want to interpret it. Do you want to just go based on the support kicking in at a certain price point, or do you want to really see a strong reversal happening and probably go long after it goes above the 1 month price? Because every time it is reversed, the previous month high is broken, and the third candle on the reversal becomes a great one to enter on a shorter time frame. Obviously we can't use monthly charts to take entries, but that is my view right now in terms of how the charts are looking. I don't see it as a great opportunity to take an entry, no matter what the indicators say, because the price is not really giving me any confidence to take an entry. All right, thanks Vishal, thanks for the question. I think it's a good thing to watch this, also look at some of the stocks inside this. If there is any reversal which is going to happen on Nifty Metal Index, can give us good opportunities to go long as well. So we need to be kind of flexible in terms of figuring out which side it's going to move. Okay, any other question from anyone else who's there on the stream? Feel free to shoot the question, I'll be happy to answer. Any other particular stock you want me to look at, I'm happy to look at that as well. It's not about more support tested, it becomes strong. It's more about after it tests the support, how does it behave? Right? It's like, for example, it tested a certain resistance once, it tested a resistance twice, it tested thrice. It might break that on the third attempt. Similarly, it might break on the third attempt here, or it might become like a triple bottom and shoot up. We really don't know what is exactly going to happen, but what we can do is we can get a fair idea in terms of how the reversals are happening, because this is 1 month, this is 1 month. So we have two candles which is very clearly showing when it hit the low how it behaved, and then we have the two candles here how it showed when it hit the low, right? So this is giving me more psychological benefit, saying that this is a strong reversal and it is holding that level. So if I'm taking entries over here, I can be very confident. But on the flip side, the amount of selling approach which has happened towards the support compared to the kind of selling which happened here and a consolidation it went through and then a breakout, this seemed to be much safer. And you can also see here the big selling happened here, selling slowed down, and then eventually the buying absorbed all the selling. So the pattern got created. And then we can see fresh set of buying coming into play and the market being moved up, right? Which is an ideal situation. Here we are having huge red candles pushing the market down, and then one small green candle. I don't know if this is just short covering by people because it reached a certain point and then fresh shorts being built, and this might go further down. We really don't know. We'll have to wait and watch how it is going to react, right? So one thing is, do not try to put a logic switch on the market. Market will never go based on our logic. Okay, twice tested, thrice tested, it will break. 4 times it tests, it will break. 5th time it will break, or 6th time it will take support. All these are good probabilities, as I say, but they might not be the reality. Okay, I guess no other questions coming from anyone else. Thanks Vishal, thanks for your time. I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. Almost 7:30, good 30 minutes of stream. Thanks for your time. We'll catch up Monday morning on a live trade. or Nifty or Bank Nifty. Whatever I find good trade, I will try to stream that. I will share my analysis through live market. So if anyone wants to trade with me, you can feel free to do so. Thanks guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.